Good evening, hello, and welcome to V8s Online's coverage of the Down Under Graphics Sprintcar Summer Series presented by Down Under Graphics and Ash Media Speedway Footage. It's going to be an interesting night as we head to Eldora. Jay Kennedy and Brett Wheeler in the booth for tonight. Brett, we saw some awesome racing last week. We understand the format a little bit better this week, and I'm sure tonight we'll put on a great show.
Yeah, look, no doubt about it. I'm sorry to turn these fans down, but glad to be back again. And round number one last week at Lanier, the show from start to finish. Especially in the heat races, and then all the way continuing on through the main event as well. So, guys certainly put on a good show last week, and this week should be no different. A lot bigger track and a lot wider track, being Eldora Raceway.
Yeah, and I think a lot more understanding of the format from the drivers and us as well. So 4 heat or up to 4 heats, top 4 starting positions will be inverted from qualifying, and they'll be for 10 laps. And then we'll have 2 B main, so a B main 1 and a B main 2, both 12 laps. Top 2 from each of those go through to the final. That will give us a maximum grid of 24 cars for our main event, with the top 5 going through from each of the 4 heats. 30 lap final. That was pretty awesome and intense last week, separated by, I think, the smallest margin I've ever seen in a dirt race. I'm fairly sure it wasn't far off yours as well.
Yeah, I think it was 0.018, I think, from there, or 0.015. But, look, over sort of the past week, I've seen some fairly close and fairly intense racing on the dirt side of it. It's, it even goes over to the midgets as well. A lot of these drivers seem to have, their stuff sort of figured out. Last week Berkeley picked up the win. Hewitt actually picked up the win and took out round number 1 after collecting the front stretch wall on that last lap. But actually, essentially, if you cast their mind back to last week, we actually had a 1-lap shootout for our A main event. So you never know, we could see the same tonight. But being Eldora, anything is possible.
Yep, you never know what we're going to see, and I think that's the exciting thing about these races in this format is expect the unexpected, because someone sitting at the front or someone looking like they've got pace to be out the front and away and clear of everyone else doesn't always work as easy as that. It's such a bizarre form of racing in that anything can and usually does happen, isn't it?
Yeah, you're not wrong. I mean, it's racing, but it's dirt track racing. That's what dirt track racing is known for. Just looking at the drivers here, I think we're just looking at the numbers and the names here, we've probably got close to the mid 30s again. I'm just reel off a couple of names here. The likes of Bob King, Dylan Sharman, Daniel Gow, Lachlan Smith, Joel Berkeley, Alex Bergeron, who you might have known about, a little Canadian. Lewis Stewart, winner from last week. Cameron Dance, Tim Ryans, he's in the house tonight. Gavin Sadler, Brenton Hobson, who had a good run last week as well. So I mean, there's a number of drivers that are capable of winning tonight, and I tell you, it's going to be tough just to pick one.
Yeah, I don't know who to put my money on, but it's a pretty stacked field the whole way through. There's no real weak spots throughout the field, which is good, and showed last week when drivers were moving forward the whole way through the field. It didn't matter where guys qualified or started. They certainly knew how to put on a show, and the track will be in a little bit different condition this week from last week as well, which will make it a little bit more interesting during the heats, and then the final as well will have the track a little bit more worn than what we saw last week as well, so that should make it a bit interesting too.
Yeah, I think we're not too far away from advancing the session and getting into qualifying here in just a moment, and we'll obviously we'll be able to show the guys qualifying, and then we get set into up to 4 heat races. I think I just counted 35 or 36 cars, so I mean, they realistically they could potentially have 9-car heat races with an inversion as well. You won't see a C main, but you'll, in fact you will, because it'll be technically B main 1 and B main number 2 as well. So, session has just been rolled over, and we're going to get set for qualifying here, Jay.
Yeah, looking forward to seeing how this all unfolds as well, and a little bit of an update to our broadcast overlay graphics that you'll see when qualifying starts. The driver's car will be a little bit easier to distinguish because everything's a little bit more color coordinated this week, so you'll be able to identify your favorite driver a little bit easier with the colors in the driver's number on our ticker and on screen matching up to their liveries, which will make it very, very cool to see, make it easier to pick your favorite driver and who you're actually following, but 5 minutes of qualifying, 2 laps. Or 7 minutes of qualifying, I should say. 2 laps, though. Going to be interesting to see who can punch out some very, very quick times.
Just looking, Harry Edwards, one of the first cars to go and take a time, and he's actually run on the top side of the racetrack, 13.574. But I expect those times to be in sort of the mid 13, low to mid 13 seconds at the moment. Craig Dunn sits at the top of the charts with a 13.449 in the opening sort of 30 seconds here of qualifying. So we'll see if anyone can top the 57. James Romy, Dylan Sharman, 15.375. Nearly 3/4 of a tenth quicker at the moment early on in qualifying.
Yeah, interesting to see if anyone jumps out late in the session. Sharman goes quicker on his second run, but Gosling goes to the top. Very, very good lap. We saw some guys hold out right until the last moment to get those runs in last week. I think track conditions this week will probably play a little bit more in the favour of going out early.
Yeah, well, single car qualifying, or lone car qualifying, I should say. So I mean, the track's not going to be all that much affected as what we've seen it last week. I mean, you look at the likes of Jake Maloney, one of the road guys, 15th quick at the moment, 13.607. No time on lap number 2, so he's going to be stuck down towards the bottom of the pack at the moment. But Trent Gosling, car number 7, with a 13.345. I think I was saying 15s there. So looking at Bob King in the 51, his first lap is a 13.460. It's going to put him about 7th quick.
We're a couple of minutes in, and we've pretty much seen the whole field. Will Bob go quicker on his second? No, just slower on the second lap. Pretty much identical. Berkeley. Wow, good lap from Berkeley. Goes to the top.
13.311, and he's only going to do one lap because that's all he needs to do. I tell you what, keep an eye on the number 12, waiting to come out of the pits at the moment is Alex Bergeron. I expect him to be up the top, if not in position number 1. But I tell you what, it's a pretty stout lap from Joel Berkeley.
Going to be tough to beat. Is Berkeley's lap. As James Rice just punches in his first lap time, goes into 17th. Amazing, only 2/10 off the pace, and you're in the bottom half of the top 20. That's a scary thought around this circuit. It's going to be very, very tight the whole way through this night. Rice doesn't improve on his second one. Not many drivers left to put in lap times. Aaron Kelly will focus on next. He's in 21st position.
Just watching Tim Ryan go by 21st quick with a 13.617 on his opening lap, and see what his second lap looks a little bit better. Yeah, 13.403 jumps up to position number 4, and Alex Bergeron as well. He's out on the racetrack now, coming out of turn number 4 in that dirt collective drill spill.
See what he can do. Very, very quick young driver. Oh, that's not going to help though. Just a slight clip of the wall. Decided to get out of it early. He's going to have one more lap. That puts a fair bit of pressure on himself now, doesn't it? Just getting one run.
Yeah, it certainly does. 666, last week's winner, round number 1 of the Sprintcar Summer Series, Lewis Hewitt on the racetrack, and along with having a look, and Bergeron still in the pits. Cameron Dance coming out as well, but we'll try and keep an eye on the 666 of Lewis Hewitt. Opening lap here for Lewis Hewitt, the first of 2 laps, and 13.355, position number 4 for Lewis Hewitt. Alex Bergeron, he's going to get one last chance at this one. We'll have a look at Cameron Dance. No time taken on his first lap. Lewis Hewitt slower on lap number 2. And Alex Bergeron for his first lap, 13.407, position at number 6, so a 10th. Separating our top 6 drivers, and you go back to about the 20th spot, 2/10 separating, and man, this field is tight.
Top 20 separated by under a quarter of a second, which is incredibly close. Cameron Dance crossed the line at the same time as Alex Bergeron, slotted in just behind him. Top 6 under a 10th, top 13 under 15 hundredths of a second. Incredibly close the whole way through, but looks like that might be it. We've got 30 cars that have made it onto the circuit. So it looks like we'll have 3 heats of 10. Of course, top 5 from each of our heats go through to the final. And we'll also have 2 B mains as well. We'll run through the qualifying results. Berkeley first, Gosling second, Sharman in third, Lewis Hewitt fourth, with Tim Ryan and Alex Bergeron rounding out 5th and 6th. Cameron Dance in 7th, Zachary Filan in 8th. Then Craig Dunn, James Robbie, Matt Reed, Bob King, Josh Micklemore, Lachlan Smith, Daniel Gow, Scott Butler, Brenton Hobson, Harry Edwards, Tim Harris, John Schultz, and Gavin Sadler, James Rice, Vince Romeo, Joshua Schuberth, Jake Maloney. Scary Maloney, less than 3/10 off the pace, but he finds himself back in 25th. Darren Kelly in 26th, then Trent Vardy, John Billington, Jacob Childs, and Cody Maroski. Rounding out our 30 cars that are in. Maroski has not put in a time, but I think that will be it. It doesn't look like anyone else will come out to punch in a qualifying lap. So this is going to be pretty exciting the whole way through tonight. Who's your money on looking at the times from that qualifying run?
Yeah, look, yeah, you know, you can't. I can't pick one.
I can't either.
Berkeley's shown that he's fast no matter what he drives. Sharman's fast in the sprint car. Lewis Hewitt, Tim Ryan, Alex Bergeron, all those three drivers. They've all run one World of Outlaws broadcast race on a weekend, and as we get set for 3 heat races here and the starting lineup, and much like last week, we're not going to be able to have much of a break in between the heat races because they are run back to back.
Yeah, and apologies straight off the bat because we probably won't get any replays out during this time as well. But our field is Cameron Dance, Lewis Hewitt, Josh Micklemore as the field changes on me. Screen's updating as drivers join out on track. John Billington, Jake Maloney, Scott Butler. Let's try it that way. That might work. There we go. Cameron Dance, Lewis Hewitt, Tim Harris, James Robbie, Joel Berkeley, Josh Micklemore, Scott Butler, James Rice, Jake Maloney, and John Billington. This is going to be a very, very tough field. You've got 5 or 6 guys that could potentially win this race.
Yeah, it's going to be tough. But I tell you what, I was super impressed with James Robbie last week. He come from the back and got a direct transfer into the main event. So, this time he's going to be starting on pole and a lot more of a familiar track for that number 41 as he will start on pole alongside Cameron Dance in the 6th. Cameron Dance obviously knows how to get it done. Had a shocking qualifying effort last week, and I'm pretty sure he actually had to come through the B main if I'm
He won that first B main, or what we thought was the C main. He won that race, and which was we ended up realising was B main 1, and got himself into the final. Ended up inside the top 10.
Yeah, had a bad effort last week, but starting off on the right foot, Lewis Hewitt and Joel Berkeley. So 3 TTL drivers inside of your top 4 positions. Josh Micklemore, Scott Butler, Tim Harris, another TTL driver. This is stacked with TTL drivers. James Rice, another TTL driver. Jake Maloney, and John Billington. We get set for 10 on the board. Top 5 will go through to tonight's feature. The rest of the guys will be stuck inside of B main 1 and 2. It's James Robbie and Cameron Dance. Now, last week we said that Josh Arm was not going to take a time, and then we later found out that we did have he was actually a race official. I'm not sure who tonight's race official will be. But the green is out. Heat race number 1. We're racing, and Dance and Robbie lead down into 1 and 2. Look at Berkeley going to the top side, make it 3 wide for the 3 TTL cars up front. Berkeley up to position number 2 right now, looking to the outside of Robbie. Dance on the inside of Berkeley. Lap 1 complete. It's going to go to James Robbie. Here comes Berkeley in that number 9 machine. He rockets down the back straightaway into the race lead. And Cameron Dance trying to make that middle part of the racetrack work in turn number 3 and 4. He's now going to have a nice battle with Lewis Hewitt. James Robbie in second. Hewitt almost drove into the right rear of Cameron Dance. Had to take evasive action. Here comes the 94 of Scott Butler. Keep an eye on Josh Micklemore in the 96, battling with Tim Harris. That's for the final transfer spot. fact, sorry, Scott Butler's got that fifth and final transfer spot locked down. Berkeley leads heat race number 1, 4 down, 6 laps remain. As James Robbie rides in second, Lewis Hewitt third, Cameron Dance in fourth, fifth is Scott Butler, and he's hanging on. And here comes the 96 of Josh Mickelmore, along with Tim Harris in that 48. So both those two drivers are going to try and find out and try and get themselves into the top 5 at the moment. Berkeley starting to pull away from James Robbie. He had a lead of 0.504, goes out to 0.622, so pulling a 10th on that last lap. And James Robbie, he may just have pressure in the closing laps here from the 666 of Lewis Hewitt. We got 3 laps left to run here in heat race number 1. Butler still hanging on to that 5th and final transfer spot. Mickelmore in the 96. Starting to close in, 2 laps to go. They got a mile to run around the Eldora Speedway. Tim Harris upside down in turns 1 and 2. He's going to be going to the B main. Go back up towards your second and third place cars of James Robbie in the 41. He's got a car length lead. Car length lead over Lewis Hewitt. As Hewitt dives to the low side into turn number 3 and 4. He's going to slide up and they make slight contact. And they both go around, but it's going to be Joel Berkeley picking up the win. James Robbie second. Third is going to be Lewis Hewitt. Cameron Dance fourth. Fifth is Josh Mickelmore, Jake Maloney, James Rice, Scott Butler, John Billington, and Tim Harris. Your 10-car finishes in heat race number 1.
Just trying to get a replay to see what happened there to Scott Butler in the final corner, but it doesn't look like my replays are working tonight. No. My replay button's not working, but we will go through the race results from that one. Berkeley from Robbie. And then Hewitt, Dance, Mickelmore in 5th with Maloney, Rice, Butler, Harris and Billington. The rest of the field, Harris upside down. That was a little bit disastrous for him, but he'll still have a chance to fight. We've seen guys come through and finish in top 10s from coming through the B main, so it can happen, and it probably will happen tonight. Someone will work their way through.
Yes, there's quite a few drivers that know how to race their way. Might not be the best qualifiers, but they know how to race their way into an A main, even potentially into a podium spot. We'll find out later on. Heat race number 2, getting set. A couple of teammates from the GSR, the Gavin Saddler Racing team. Car number 46 of Matt Reed will start on pole to his outside. The newest driver of the Gavin Saddler Racing team, the 49 of Zach Phelan, starts out of position at number 2. Tim Ryan in car number 98 will start out of position number 3. Alongside him in car number 7, it's Trent Gosley. The 911 of Lachlan Smith lines up alongside Brendan Hobson in row number 3. On the inside of row number 4, it's going to be the 78 of John Schultz, and the 077 of Vince Romeo starts out of position 8. In your back row for heat race number 2 on the inside, it's going to be Aaron Kelly. Starting position 10 in the 17, it's going to be Jacob Childs. Another 10 on the board, and another 5 to go straight into the main event. Matt Reed and Zach Phelan will get us underway here in heat race number 2. Keep an eye on that 98 machine of Tim Ryan. Trent Gosley into the wall. He's going to save it, I believe. Yes, he saves it, but he's in dead last. And no yellows. Now here comes Tim Ryan with a slide job for the lead. Ryan leads the opening lap, slams the door shut on Matty Reed as Matt Reed goes up top of the racetrack. Tries to gain the momentum down the back straight away. Ryan's in second, and here comes Phelan on the inside in that third spot. And how about Vince Romeo up to position number 4 from that 8th starting spot. So the 077 has picked off 4 cars in the opening 2 laps. Now starting the challenge for third. As he looked to the inside of Zach Phelan as they went into 3 and 4. He's doing the same thing in turn 1 and 2. Has stood there for a moment, but it's going to be Phelan who powers back around the outside. And here comes Brendan Hobson in that 88, in that 5th and final transfer spot. A good result for Hobbo last week, finishing 5th, I believe it was, or even 4th last week at Lanier. And now he's riding the top side right on the bubble at the moment as Tim Ryan is your race leader. He is just dominating the field right now. He's got nearly a second lead, 0.828 of a second over Matty Reid in car number 46. Zach Phelan in third. Oh, Hobson into the wall in 3 and 4. And that's going to send his car flipping wildly. Now, I know it's out of his control, but he needs to escape as quick as he can, but he gets it back on all fours as Tim Ryan will eventually put him a lap down. Lap 7 is complete. 3 laps left to run here in heat race number 2. Matty Reid, Zach Phelan, Vince Romeo, and John Schultz. Your 5th and final car to go into tonight's A main from heat race number 2. 1.5 laps remain in heat race number 2. Tim Ryan putting a hurt on this field at the moment. And he's just got 1 lap to do. And he will transfer and pick up heat race number 2 win as he goes into turn number 3 and 4. He's going to come out of turn 4. Checkered flag is waving for Tim Ryan. Car number 98 gets the win. Second will go to the 46 of Matt Reid. Third, Zach Phelan. It's Romeo in 4th. John Schultz rounds out the top 5. That's Aaron Kelly, Jacob Childs, Trent Gosley, Brenton Hobson, and Lachlan Smith. A DNF in that one.
It didn't quite pick up what happened to Smith there in that one as well. We saw Gosley have those issues, but I'm not sure what happened to Smith. But some big names already tonight that are going to have to work their way through these B mains and get in the final. It's going to be a tough night for a few drivers. Tim Ryan, very, very dominant in that one there, Brett.
Yeah, just having a look at Lachlan Smith. He's just a little bit out of shape out of turn 2, hit the backstretch wall, and there was severe rear end damage on that race car. So yeah, we'll get set for heat race number 3. The final heat race of the night before we get set into our first of 2 B mains, and then I believe they'll have a warm-up, and then it'll be a 30-lap feature event. Heat race number 3, starting on the pole, it's going to be the 51 of Bob King to his outside, car 57 of Craig Dunn. At a position 3, the 12 of Alex Bergeron lines up alongside the 91 of Dylan Sharman. At a position 5, it's going to be Daniel Gow lining up alongside Harry Edwards. At a position 7, the 71 of Gavin Sadler and the 83 of Joshua Schuberth starts position 8. Trent Varney in car number 11 lines up out of position number 9. In fact, Trent Varney not in this one, along with Cody Morosky. So those 2 drivers unable to a DNS in heat race number 3. So just 8 cars and another 5 transfer.
Another stacked field in this one too, so it should be really interesting to see who can come through. 10 laps for these drivers once again, and then we're straight into the B mains. Night just does not stop at all. Awesome format though, I think.
Oh, it's the best. I'm glad that sort of iRacing has released the heat race format, but I think if there's one thing that could be changed, I think it's just the amount of laps for the A, Bs, and for the consolation races and the A main. I think if that gets changed to where you can enter in your own amount of laps, it would almost be near perfect. Also add in a dash as well. Heat race number 3, Bob King and Craig Dunn, your front row, and we are green. Keep an eye on Bergeron and Sharman, 3 wide down the main straightaway. Oh, Cal clips the left rear of Alex Bergeron, and he is going to have to racing his way through the consolation. But right now, the battle for the race lead. King to the outside, if you don't mind. He will take over the race lead, but Dunn fights back on the inside into 1 and 2. Look at the battle on for 3rd and 4th as well. It's Harry Edwards and Dylan Sharman side by side. Look at this. 3 rows of 2 by 2. Sharman around the outside of Edwards. Daniel Gow up to position number 5. He's got Joshua Schuberth knocking on the door on the inside. Gow looks to the inside, looks to throw a slide job on Edwards, but Edwards going to use that top side. Meanwhile, Sharman up to position number 2, but here comes Dunn back to the inside. Sharman working around the top side of the racetrack on the exit of corner number 4. 4 down, 6 to go. Sharman rides in second, now looks to have his eyes set on the back of the 51, and here comes Harry Edwards in that 66. He's trying to get into that 3rd spot. Schubert, one spot out of a transfer into tonight's main event at the moment, but he's not too far away. He may just be able to sneak in if the car's in front of him. Dunn, Edwards, and Gauss, they come together sometime. And here comes Edwards with a slide job and Dunn 3-1 off turn number 2, if you don't mind. Awesome racing. Edwards and Gal contact, and this is Schubert's chance. Schubert, he's really got to capitalise on this opportunity right now in the 83. He's back there in 6, looks to the inside off turn number 2. Edwards holding down that 5th and final transfer spot. Bob King, 2 laps to go, but my eyes are firmly peeled on the battle for the transfer spot. The 71 of Gavin Sadler. Going to try and throw his name into the mix right now in the last couple of laps. White flag is out for Bob King. Sharman still in 2nd, Dunn in 3rd. Dunn all over the back of Sharman as they go down the back straight away. Dunn looks to the inside. He throws the slide job. Sharman counteracts into turn number 3 and 4. And it's going to be Bob King picking up the win from Dylan Sharman 3rd. Craig Dunn 4th. Then you've got Harry Edwards in 5th. Go back to Joshua Schubert, Gavin Sadler, Alex Bergeron, and Trent Varney. And Jay, Heat Racing Action just providing once again that it's setting us up for a great night of racing.
Yeah, it's going to be fantastic the whole way through the rest of this night. And have a look at the gap between Edwards and Schubert there. 0.08 of a second. So literally nothing separating the 5th and 6th place cars, that transfer spot. And Schubert is going to have to go through the B main as well as Gavin Sadler and Alex Bergeron. A pretty stacked group of guys that have gone from this race into the B main. So it's going to be really, really tight, this first B main. The driver's already getting ready to come out on track.
Yeah, look, we were caught off by last week, you know. Quick game's a good game, but man, I'll tell you what, these guys having no time to rest. And if you were just in that last heat race, I mean, you just want to hope that you got the changes sorted out. So B main number 1 and top 4 will transfer into tonight's main event. And starting on the pole, it's going to be the 29 of Jake Maloney. The 83 of Joshua Schubert starts out of position number 2. Out of position 3 sees the 17 of Jacob Charles lining up alongside the 94 of Scott Butler. Alex Bergeron starts out of position number 5 in car number 12 and to his outside. It's the 88 of Brenton Hobson. And riding shotgun at the back in car number 48, it's going to be Tim Harris. Starting out of position number 7, we send 3 cars home from this one. And we send another 4 into the back of tonight's main event.
I think we send 5 home from this. Top 2 go through from this and the next one. So going to make it even tighter from memory.
Oh, okay. Yes, it's got 4 in the information bar.
Okay. It says 4 there. We'll go with 4.
Look, you know what? I'm going to go with 4 unless I can get confirmation from one of the guys that are actually racing that might be watching it. But we'll keep the B main rolling. B main number 1, Maloney and Schubert will be your front row. Childs and Butler, Bergeron and Hobbo. So that's a pretty big third row there. Those 2 drivers will want to get the jump on this field, and now we are green. And Bergeron with a horrible start, and Hobson goes straight to position number 3 as he now gets around the outside of Jacob Childs and looking on the outside. Bergeron to the inside and trying to work that number 12 to the low side of the racetrack. Oh, wow. Bergeron, he is around, and wow, that's pretty much his night done for. As we got Jacob Childs in the 17. Slight contact there with the race leader of Maloney. Schubert now working to the outside. Hobson through the middle. Childs looking for the race lead off of turn number 2. Running right through the middle in turns 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. 3 and 4 is keeping it a little bit lower right now. But a side-by-side battle for the race lead. Maloney, Childs. Here comes Harris from position number 7 up to 4. Schubert not going to give that one up without a fight. Oh, Hobson. What about Schubert on the outside? Oh, wow. And Scott Butler, the big winner in that one, going from 6 up to position number 4, looking for 3rd. How about the TTL cars out in front?
Whoa.
1 and 2. Tim Harris from last to 1st in B main number 1. Maloney in 2nd. 3rd is Butler. Hobbo Hobson in fourth. Childs back to fifth. Schubert back in the pits, and Alex Bergeron riding around in sixth place. Talking about guys coming from the back of the bus in the B-Main. Yes, it's only 7 cars, but 7th up to position number 1 in the opening half race distance. And Tim Harris looks to have this pole position wrapped up. Jake Maloney in second. Third is still going to be Brendan Hobson. Fourth is Childs. Not sure what happened to our other car there. Is Scott Butler.
Butler just pulled into the pits. Don't know what happened there.
Maybe a fuel issue, I'm going to say, but I tell you what, Alex Bergeron, he's...
Childs is done too.
Yeah, Alex Bergeron's actually up into fourth, so, I mean, the mentality of, not to give up and just continue to race it out, he's got his way back up to position number 4, courtesy of a couple of guys dropping out, so, I mean, no matter what happens from here on out, he's going to make it into the A main, so the field is spread out at the moment as we got 2 laps left to run, so 1 mile around the Eldora Speedway. Tim Harris, your race leader, from starting in position number 7. Jake Maloney in second up, starting on the pole. The white flag is out. Third, Brendan Hobson now. He'd be bitterly disappointed about having to run in a B main, but on the other end of the token, he'll be glad just to get into the main event. And I'll tell you what, a man that could be hard charged tonight is that number 12 machine. Tim Harris comes across the line in first place. Second will go to Maloney. Hobson will grab third, and Bergeron will round out the top 4.
That was a very bizarre race then. That was the strangest race we've had in this entire series, but Harris, Maloney, Hobson and Bergeron, the top 4, with Childs, Butler and Schubert all DNFing. Very, very strange race, that one.
Let's hope it doesn't get any stranger than that, because we are getting set for the final B-Main. B-Main number 2. This is where we send our last 4 cars, and the rest of the drivers will have to sit and watch like the rest of us are doing right now, unless you're one of the drivers already locked into the main event. B-Main number 2. And starting on the pole, it's going to be the number 8 of Aaron Kelly. To his outside, it's going to be the 5 of James Rice. Row 2 on the inside, we'll see the 71 of Gavin Sadler lining up alongside the 7 of Trent Gosley. Now, Trent Gosley qualified second quick tonight, so heat race didn't go to plan. The 62 of John Billington starts out of position number 5. The 11 of Trent Vardy starts out of position number 6. Lachlan Smith in the 911 starts out of position number 7. I'm pretty sure Cody Morosky is not here. In fact, he's here. And he's scheduled to start out of position 8. So it looks like we're going to have our 5th place starter of John Billington not make it onto the racetrack. So that'll move Lachlan Smith. And just 6 cars in this one, but still any one of these 6 cars can pick up a B-Main win here and lock themselves into tonight's feature event. 30 laps will be the distance for the main event tonight. And you will see yellows if they are needed, controlled by iRacing if we have any in the main event. But hopefully we can have 30 of the best green flag laps you will see here on the V8s Online. Round number 2 of the Sprintcar Summer Series.
Hearing the 3 cars that pulled out of that last heat all had meatball mechanical black flags. So that is why they had to jump into the pits. That would explain absolutely everything about why they just stopped at bizarre times.
Yeah, you can look after your race cars, boys. Very fragile. Slightest of touch can impact your race night, as it's now time for B-Main number 2. Aaron Kelly and James Rice, your front row. We go down into 1 and 2. It's going to be Aaron Kelly right through the middle, and Lachlan Smith from position 5 up to position number 3. And he's not done yet. He's going to try and run down his teammate. How about James Rice to the outside? Into 1 and 2. In 4th at the moment. He tries to keep the momentum up and power back around the outside of the 911. Meanwhile, battle for the race lead. Gavin Sadler takes over that front running spot. And we got a new leader at the line. Yes, we do. But Aaron Kelly, how about Kelly right through the middle? Like a Donny Schultz line. But this time there's grip in that racetrack. And Kelly very strong through the middle part of the racetrack. Lachlan Smith coming up on his teammate. Here comes Trent Gosling with a slide jump on to James Rice. Rice back around the outside. That's your fourth and final transfer spot. Rice gets a little bit up over the cushion in turns 3 and 4. And that's going to allow Gosley to pick up fourth. And oh my, wow, Kelly has a big moment. And Gosley goes up to position number 2. Kelly slowing into turn 3 and 4. Rice had to go to the inside. But Kelly back around the outside, the number 8, the white and red number 8. The battle is on for the fourth and final transfer spot. We're coming up to half race distance, 6 down, 6 laps to go. And it is Lachlan Smith out in front. So for the second B main in a row, we've had a guy scheduled to start dead last, and he is out in front. Trent Gosley in second, Gavin Sadler in third, Aaron Kelly fourth, James Rice in position number 5. Rice to try and keep that number 5 in the JR Productions and Media entry, working the outside of the racetrack. He has a lot of speed going into turn number 3 and 4. I just think you might need to have to shift it to the middle, down low in 1 and 2, because that's where he's losing a bit of time to Aaron Kelly, as we've got 3 laps to run now as we complete lap number 9. So Rice may need to change lines, go to the bottom 1, 2, and the top 3 and 4. Lachlan Smith is out in front by 1.75 seconds. We'll see if that increases here. Oh, Rice
Whoa.
and Kelly come together, and Rice keeps it going. Kelly is upside down. Now that meatball flag, has James Rice got any damage on that race car? And with 1 lap to go, I think he can finish it out without being disqualified if he has one. But man, he was super lucky there. And Aaron Kelly is going to be a DNF, or not a DNF, but he's going to be done for in this one. Lachlan Smith picks up the win. Trent Gosley second, third. Going to go to Gavin Sadler, and James Rice comes home in 4th. 5th was Aaron Kelly. Trent Vardy was your 6 cars in that one. And that will conclude all the B mains. And all that's left now, Jay, is a 30-lap main event.
Yep, cannot wait for this. This is going to be very, very exciting. Very cool to get this one underway in round 2 of the Down Under Graphics Sprintcar Summer Series. Big thank you to everyone tuning in, wherever you're watching, right around Australia or around the world. Friends in New Zealand tuning in late on a Tuesday night. Nothing better to do than watch some Speedway on a Tuesday night.
No matter what night of the week it is, nothing better than watching Speedway, that's for sure.
Just hearing from Trent Vardy that he's lost power. That's going to be a bit of an issue. Obviously, it won't be an issue. That's why he disappeared from that last race. That was why he ended up with a DNF.
Yeah, look, it must suck, but we're getting set. Car's just having one last warm-up session here. It'll be 2 minutes of warm-up, so already a minute has gone, so they're going to try and run this track. It's had a bit of a scrape, a bit of a fresher track for the main event, but with 50 seconds left on the racetrack, you've got 20-odd sprint cars out there right now, trying to tear this racetrack up. And, I think we're set for a beauty of a main event tonight.
It's going to be interesting, too, is seeing guys that qualified well and ended up at the pointy end in their heats, and other guys that qualified well and have had come through the B mains. It's going to be really close, or very, very tough to see those guys work their way through, because it's going to be a very, very stacked main. I'm intrigued to see how the likes of Gosley do coming up through the field. Obviously, second in that second B main. How he's going to go coming back through the field after being second quickest in qualifying. It's going to be a tough ask to come all the way through, but he's got pace, so it'd be interesting to watch.
Yeah, look, not only that, but you're both B main winners. They both started at the back of their B mains. Tim Harris and Lachlan Smith, and they made their way forward as well. So, that's just you think about this. Every car that they pass to get into the main event essentially was just another row forward. So we'll have your grid here in just a moment.
Just wait for it to stop shuffling through, and I'll hopefully be able to put it up on the screen. All the drivers all joining on, and it's shuffling my grid. Hopefully, it'll settle in just a moment. 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 It'll settle in just a moment Now, I seeing right, Dylan Sharman will start this one from first
Correct.
position with Matt Reid in second, James Robbie in third, and Bob King in fourth. That's a very, very stacked front two rows. And then you've got Tim Ryan and Joel Berkeley next. Then Lewis Hewitt and Zachary Phelan, Craig Dunn and Cameron Dancer ending out the first 5 rows. It is going to be really, really intense and really, really tight the whole way through tonight. This race is going to be awesome to watch.
We'll go through the second half of the field. Vince Romeo in the 077 and Daniel Gow occupy row 6. Row 7, that's going to be Josh Mickelmore and John Schultz. Harry Edwards and Tim Harris make up row number 8. Row 9 will be Jake Maloney and Brendan Hobson. Alex Bergeron, Lachlan Smith, Trent Gosley, Gavin Sadler, and James Rice, your 23 starters for round number 2 of the Down Under Graphics Sprint Car Summer Series at Eldora Raceway live here on V8's Online. As One the Green is being shown to the drivers. How many laps till we see first caution? Hopefully none. Jay, quick tip, who you got?
I am going for Berkeley.
Very, very good choice. I can't pick one. You know what? You know what? I'm a hope that luck's on the 91 side. We'll go with Dylan Sharman. We get set 30 on the board. Let's get dirty for 30, and we are racing here for the main event. Sharman immediately to the top side of the racetrack as he leads down the back straight away. James Robbie and Tim Ryan in the 98. Look at Berkeley on the outside, making this 3 wide. Oh, how did he fit that car through that gap? Matt Reid was coming up the racetrack. Robbie, here comes Hewitt and King as well. Wow, oh, Zach Phelan around. No, he keeps it going. 3 wide for the minor placings right now. Sharman leads Ryan and Berkeley to the outside yellow, just as Berkeley catches the wall. Wow, that was intense at its finest, and it looks like
Alex
Bergeron.
Bergeron.
Hobson, maybe?
Yeah, Hobson and Bergeron. Bergeron was facing the wrong direction and then just clipped Hobbo as Hobbo come through. Not sure if it was helping. There was another car that was sideways on the front straight. I think it might have been Harry Edwards, and then he straightened it up. So, unfortunately, I can't get any replays working tonight, so I can't go back and have a look and see exactly what happened, but hopefully you can see exactly what happened for us, Brett.
Just having a look, there was Vince Romeo. He was a little bit out of shape on the front stretch, but as a couple of drivers come down the main straight, Alex Bergeron and the 29 of Jake Maloney, they just come together. And in that sense, sort of Alex cars towards the top of the racetrack. Obviously, Hobson having nowhere to go, not knowing that there's a car coming towards him on the bottom side of the racetrack. Bergeron just comes up, and Hobbo has some damage to the 88. But it's going to be Alex Bergeron, the big sufferer in that one. As at 12, he's had no luck tonight. The only luck that he's had was in that B main when a couple of cars had the meatball flying out. All the lights are out on the pace track as we get set to go back to green flag racing. The first challenger of the night, Dylan Sharman, will lead James Robbie. That's a good result for James Robbie in that 41. If he can keep that up, he's been very impressive tonight and last week as well. Lewis Hewitt rounding out your top 5. Bob King, Cameron Dance, Craig Dunn, Josh Mickelmore, and Daniel Gow. Your 11 cars there. Bit of a gap. There's at least a couple of car links here between Tim Ryan and Dylan Sharman as we are back underway. Sharman gets a great start as he powers off turn 4, but here comes Robbie to the inside of Berkeley. He cannot make the move, but now Berkeley's going to go to the slide job line on Tim Ryan and Lewis Hewitt around the outside of James Robbie. So some of Australia's best right now fighting it out here at the Eldora Speedway. Ryan and Berkeley. Ryan through the middle. Here comes Berkeley with a slider. No, he thinks twice about it. And the left rear meets the right front. And that never ends well. But Berkeley, he's going to lose a spot. Bob King gets around the outside of James Robbie. Cameron Dance back there as well. Had a little bit of contact with James Robbie. But the 666 machine right now is starting to reel in that number 98. But how about the 91 of Dylan Sharman? Down 20 laps to go. Dylan Sharman leads from Tim Ryan, Lewis Hewitt, Joel Berkeley, and Bob King. What a What a top 5 that is, if you don't mind.
Oh, car around. Josh Mickelmore just helped and spun, just caused the caution. Sorry to cut you off there. I just saw that happening and I'm like, there's going to be a caution here. And there is.
Yeah, look, coming over the top, but it's all good. Yeah, it was actually Craig Dunn put a slide job on Mickelmore there, and Mickelmore went across back underneath him, but Craig Dunn not fully, lost a bit of momentum when you throw that slide job lane in, and contact was there, and Tim Harris was just happened to spin the 96. But I tell you what, he done well, and so did all the other drivers around him not to make contact, but he kept that going. But I mean, it's a shame that the caution did come out because realistically that was never a yellow. But I mean, that's just iRacing things, right? Can't be perfect.
Yeah. If we had more severe things like that aren't called cautions, sometimes it's a bit strange. Sometimes the old magic yellow flag waiver, but oh well. I'd prefer it to be thrown than to be an and it not get thrown.
That is true. That is true indeed. The light's still on the pace track, so 2 to green. So we're probably going to be halfway complete. 15 down, 15 to go by the time the drivers get the green flag. As the lights are they off the pace track? Or are they on?
I can't tell. Pace track's a bit strange. Hard to see with those lights, isn't it?
I was actually looking from the box camera box point of view. So they're actually off. We're going green. This time by Sharman gets back underway. Oh wow, Bob King has an absolute Barry Crocker of a start. And he's still going to be in 5th place, but man, he stacked the field up behind him. And let's try and keep an eye on the battle for the minor placings at the moment. Tim Ryan up and over 4 wheels over the cushion in turns 3 and 4. Lewis Hewitt, Joel Berkeley run the wall in turn 1 and 2 to try and reel in that number 98 machine. Hewitt goes through the middle. Berkeley keeping it up top right now. Both those drivers finished 1 and 2 last week. Sharman has now got a challenge from the 98. As he just lost a bit of momentum now into turn number 1 and 2. But Sharman is going to take back the race lead as he's led every green flag lap so far. The top 3 run right through the middle. Berkeley running up top in position 4. And then Bob King followed closely in 5th. Oh, contact between Sharman and Ryan. Oh, my. They keep it going, and look at this. 1 and 2 finishes from last week are running 1 and 2 right now. Hewitt leads Berkeley. The 98 of Tim Ryan in 3rd and Bob King 4th. What a battle this is between the 2 TTL drivers right now. 11 laps remain. Lewis Hewitt on the top side of the racetrack. Berkeley through the middle, and yellow is out. And that was where the car stopped on the infield. On the inside, on the back wall, on the back stretch.
Gosling and Phelan both out of the race, so I'm guessing that incident unfortunately involved those 2 cars.
How about a bit of luck to go the way of the 91? I mean, he led every lap until there was contact with Tim Ryan coming up into the left-hand, virtually the left-hand side of Dylan Sharman's car. They both done well to get out of that unscathed. And man, Berkeley and Hewitt, they just went either side of Sharman, and they went straight to 1 and 2 like they were last week. And we've seen Hewitt sort of change up his restarts last week and sort of catch Joel off guard. I guess I tell you what, this week it's going to be a different story because Berkeley, he's going to be watching that 666 machine like a hawk, especially when they come around next time by.
Actually got a replay to work for the first time tonight, and it was a rather uneventful incident, that wasn't it? It was just a bit strange. From Gosling, I think he may have had some issues with the car and had to pull it over in the end. Didn't look quite right there, did it?
The cutpriceracing.com.au replay. Did I get that right?
You did.
Beautiful. You know what? I'm not useless after all. Anyhow, it'll be 23 laps complete. 7 laps left to run. Round number 1 winner, Lewis Hewitt, leads the field over last week's runner-up, Joel Berkeley. Tim Ryan in 3rd, leaving a little, not so much of a 747 jumbo jet, but leaving a bit of distance between himself and the 9. Bob King in 4th and Sharman in 5th. As Ryan looked to the inside in 1 and 2 there on Berkeley, going to do the same thing in 3 and 4. Going to try and slide up the racetrack, but no. It's going to be Lewis Hewitt and Joel Berkeley continuing their 1-2. That's the field. Bob King now challenging for 3rd on the inside of the racetrack. Ryan goes up top and yellow is out. And
Craig
wow,
done.
lap 20.
Oh, big crash. It's 4 cars upside down on the back straight. Dunn, Romeo, Harris, and I think Josh Micklemore as well.
You would be correct. And just like last week, although I think this week we're going to have a green-white checker instead of a white checker.
You know how intense that last lap was last week. Hopefully if we got double, we'll have double the intensity.
Just trying to keep an eye on the pace truck there. Lights still flashing at the moment. So they'll go around one more time on 1 the green. That'll complete lap 27. So it will be a green-white checker to the finish. And over the past 2 weeks, we are set for probably some of the best finishes you will ever have that can finish under the green flag. And let's hope that these drivers settle down. Tell you what, Bob King been really impressive tonight, running that bottom side of the racetrack. Just keeping that 51 down there, but not having enough to get past the 98 of Tim Ryan. But can Lewis Hewitt, can he double down and make it 2 in a row for the series, or is Berkeley going to steal this one away from him? And we'll see if Hewitt can keep that 666 machine off the wall coming off turn 4 on the final lap.
This is going to be very, very intense, and I think Sharman will probably be the one that will be trying to make the biggest moves here. He's had the most unfortunate second half of this race. See if he can move forward. It's going to be very, very tight. Here we go.
We are back underway right now, and it is a green-white checker. Hewitt through the middle. How about King and Sharman as well? They both get underneath the number 98. 3 wide for 3rd, but the battle is on for the race lead. Berkeley had to get on the brakes to avoid running into the back of Hewitt now. 1 lap to go. The white is out. They will race to the checkered flag. Down the back straightaway. Hewitt goes to the top side. Berkeley, is he going to go the big slide job line? No. Lewis Hewitt doubles up. He will take out round number 2 of the Down on the Graphics Sprint Car Summer Series. Berkeley will grab 2nd. 3rd will go to Tim Ryan. 4th is going to be Dylan Sharman. And Bob King rounds out your top 5.
Wow, what a finish to that race. Berkeley just clipped the wall in turn 3, just clipped the inside wall. I think that probably cost him any chance of really putting any pressure on Hewitt, but well done to Lewis Hewitt. Back-to-back wins in this series in what is a very, very tight and hotly contested championship. I don't know if we're going to see anyone else be able to do that throughout this whole series, because that was phenomenal, and I doubt we're going to see someone dominate a series, or dominate this series like we've seen Hewitt do for the first 2 weeks. Picking up wins back-to-back. What a start for him.
Yeah, what a start, but also to his teammate as well. So the TTL drivers finished 1-2 yet again. There's a whole bunch of drivers that need to be credited. We'll go with Gavin Sadler from position number 22 up to position 7. That is 15 positions in 30 laps. So picking up tonight's hard charger was Gavin Sadler.
We'll run through the results and we'll get some interviews. But Lewis Hewitt, massive gap in comparison to last week, 0.4 of a second over Joel Berkeley. Then Tim Ryan, Dylan Sharman, Bob King, James Robbie, Gavin Sadler, Cameron Dance, Lachlan Smith, and John Schultz rounding out the top 10. Then we've got Maloney, Hobson, Rice, Micklemore, and Gow. Then we've got the DNFs of Harris, Dunn, Romeo, Gosley, Ireland, Edwards, Reed, and Bergeron. Brett, we've got Joel Berkeley in the booth. Take it away.
Well, Joel, mate, you started out of position number 6. You won your heat race earlier on tonight, and you fall short, and you come up 1 spot shy again to your teammate behind the 666, not next to him this week.
Yeah, I guess so. Oh, well, it happens. It had a good night, though.
You had a pretty good battle there with Lewis there for probably the first half of that race for 3rd and 4th, but I guess you guys kind of got to be lucky there when Tim got into the side of Dylan and then you guys were sort of able to get around Dylan there and continue your battle for the race lead.
Yeah, that's right. I think I was ahead of Lewis, and then me and Tim got together. I think I had damage on that start when that first yellow come out, and I had no room up top there and got on the wall, and it pretty bent the car up. But yeah, it's all right. I finished it in second, so congrats to Lewis.
What were you thinking on that last restart? This time you had 2 laps to get it done, but what was going through your mind on that last restart?
Well, I knew I had that top. I was fastest on the top. I knew that Lewis was going to go up. I was going to cut it. I was going to send it in 3 and 4, but yeah, I got a little bit tired on corner entry, and screwed me up there. So happy to finish second.
Well, mate, sponsor of the series, but no doubt you certainly earned this second place tonight, and coming from that outside of the third row, no doubt you got some sponsors you want to thank.
Yeah, it's a massive thanks to the boys at TTL Esports, Ash Media, down to Graphics, Hyper Simulator, and everyone else that helps out. Much appreciated. News for broadcasting.
Thank you very much, mate. We've had an absolute ball once again tonight, and looking forward to next week. Next week we go to Knoxville from memory. You are looking forward to that one?
Yeah, looking forward to Knoxville. It should be good, I hope. Hopefully we can get some races that only have like 1 or 2 cautions. But yeah, it's still good only having a couple cautions. It's not that bad.
It was much cleaner this week than last week, but congratulations, mate. Well done on another solid second position. We'll go to the man in first, Lewis Hewitt. Congratulations on another win. Made it look easy, and then a massive 4/10 win.
Yeah, thank you. At least I didn't crash over the line this time. A little bit less dramatic.
Still very, very exciting though. Brett, I'll let you take it. I know you've got a question.
I was just going to say you could have made it a little bit more exciting for us. You've done it last week. You let us down this week. But tell you, inside at row number 4, and you get a bit lucky in these races, and that's what that's what you need sometimes to win race. And I guess you could say luck was on your side tonight to go back to back. Yeah, definitely. I think a few guys in front of me got together, and I managed to just get around them and pick up positions that way. And I think in the end, Dylan and Tim got together, and I got the lead. And from there, just sat in first, and it was a good race. Yeah. Sort of run through the middle and in 1 and 2, and kind of the same with 3 and 4. But 3 and 4 looked like that top was just a little bit quicker. What was the plan of attack with that green white checker finish? Really? Oh, I thought I'm going to try and run the middle here. I thought maybe the top was going away, but I ran it on the in the first turn on that first lap, and it was slow. So I knew I had to put the car back up the top, and I thought, oh, Joel's just going to get me here. But I managed to keep it together and not get into the wall or anything. So yeah, it was a good finish for me. Can you make it 3 for 3 next week in Knoxville? Absolutely not. I'm not particularly good at Knoxville, so I think that's going to be quite an average round for me. But hopefully I get some more luck. That would be nice. Mate, well done on picking up both sprint car wins in a matter of a couple of weeks. No doubt, I'm sure you got some sponsors you want to thank, or would you like me to do that for you? No, this time I think I can remember them. I've got a picture of the car on the screen, so I can use that for reference. But yeah, obviously, big thanks to TTL Esports once again. Also, thank you to Ash Media, SimSpec Engineering, Hyper Simulators, Down Under Graphics, and I think I've got most of them this time. Any I forgot, Brett? No. You know what? I'm pretty sure that's it. Actually, didn't you guys have a new sponsor come on board, or was that for the road stuff? I'll be honest, I'm not quite sure. I think we do have a new one on board. I'm just not quite sure who they are, unfortunately. Sure, you may know.
Team bosses here.
That's the road side, and to be honest, I've been away for so long of it.
You know what? We'll
I don't have to feel too bad about not knowing now.
Here we go. Asher Racing Simulator Hardware.
So we won't scrap that question then. We got the answer in the end.
We got there.
It took 4 of us to work it out. But hey, Lewis, well done, and no doubt you look to go look for another 3-peat next week. Yeah, thank you very much. Thanks, guys, for the broadcast. Jay, I might as well keep going.
Go for it.
Standing by with 4th place finisher, led quite a majority of laps, a bit unlucky at about the midway point of the race with contact with another driver, Dylan. Hard luck, but still a 4th place finish. You got to be happy about that.
Yeah, especially after last week, starting out of 15th and having to work my tail side off to try and get up the front. Yeah, look, had good pace when I was in clear air, but it's one of those things where I was coming down and Tim was coming up, and yeah, that sort of stuff happens on such a wide track. Trying to find the correct groove, as about halfway through it changed. So look, overall happy not to spin out, and good to get fourth. Just missed the podium, but still happy with fourth.
You had some, as I said, you had some good speed early on. Was the car set up too good early on in the race, and that's not where you need it to be?
No, I think it was pretty good. Like once I got the correct groove again, it was all right. But then I sort of got out of shape coming into 3, which allowed Tim to get underneath me, and yeah, just coming through that slick, sort of slowed me down a bit, and he was able to power straight through, and fortunately made a bit of contact. But yeah, I think the car was good once I found the right groove. But yeah, I think I was a bit too slow to find that right groove.
Look, that you TTL drivers have got your stuff sorted. You guys pick up 3 of the top 4 spots. So, in regards to team wise, Tim Harris had a good run. Coming through the field in the B main dance as well. Maloney. So all in all, TTL. Good night for TTL overall.
Yeah, definitely. We had all of our drivers by the looks finish inside the top 11. So pretty. Oh no, top. Actually, Timmy had a shocker there, but overall, yeah, 5 out of 6 finished in top 11, which we're happy with, and yeah, 3 out of 4 up front. So yeah, starting to find the right speed again, and now I just need to translate it into the Saturday stuff as well, and yeah, keep soldiering on and keep fighting against these Americans on the weekend to push our claim to get a time slot for this World of Outlaws, or get it more Aussie friendly.
It always is a pain in the backside when they just worry about the Americans. They want the world's best, but at the moment they're only getting America's best. But look, no doubt we've already heard it a couple of times, but no doubt you've got some sponsors you want to thank as well.
Yeah, I guess just everyone at TTL. Lewis has been doing good things with setup lately, so thank him as well quite a bit, and same with Joe. They've been working their backside off last couple of weeks trying to get these setups more up to scratch. We struggled early on in the year, but yeah, just everyone at Ash Media, Hyper Stimulator, and Asher Racing, the new sponsor, who is sponsoring Joshua Rogers in the F1 World Championship Series. So yeah, just whole round group effort there. So night.
Well done on the 4th place, and I'm sure we'll see you back here next week.
All right, thank you. We'll do. Thanks for the broadcast as well, guys.
Yeah, congratulations.
Back to you.
Yeah, thanks, mate. Congratulations to TTL and also to Tim Ryan as well for podium spot. But wraps up a massive night in our massive week of broadcasting. We're live again tomorrow for Oceanic Sprint Championship. We head to Bathurst for GT3 racing at Mount Panorama. Then we've got Rallycross on Thursday night, CPR Kart and Simparts Rallycross. Massive weekend. We are live for 17 hours. Oceanic Endurance Championship, 12 hours of Silverstone, and the Major Series Daytona 500 covered all day Sunday here on V8's Online. Monday, of course, iRacing official V8 Supercars. Next weekend, the 25th start of the VRS V8 Sculpt Series. It's going to be a fantastic few weeks. Of course, next Tuesday we'll be back though for the next round of the Down Under Graphics Sprintcar Summer Series. Brett, thank you very much for jumping in once again tonight. It's been awesome fun.
Yeah, no worries. Thanks for having me again, and I'll see you back here next week for Knoxville for round number 3.
Yep, looking forward to that one. We will be here. We might get I might have a bit of a break at some point in between now and then, but until we see you next time, thank you for tuning in here on V8's Online. It's bye for now.